This again is where you come to a series of mysteries which are perhaps best speeding up to the Great Pyramid. If it's going to carry blocks right up to what will be the top of the Great Pyramid in Egypt, with the three Great Pyramids and the extraordinary megalithic temples.
That the stones used in building the Great Pyramid came from Torah.
For over 4,500 years, the world has been told one neat story about the Great Pyramid. One pharaoh, simple tools, human muscle, 20 years of work, case closed. But when real engineers started checking the numbers, something didn't sit right. They found stone cuts too clean for copper tools, measurements too perfect for simple surveying, and blocks so heavy that even modern cranes struggle to lift them. The math behind the structure aligns with true north to a precision that today requires satellite guidance. Yet ancient builders supposedly used nothing more than rope and wooden rods. That's when Hancock followed the trail others avoided. He searched through old maps, geological surveys, satellite scans, and sealed archaeological reports. Every step revealed the same pattern, pieces that didn't fit the accepted story. The more data he gathered, the less believable the textbook version became. Inside the pyramid, something even stranger waited. No wall carvings, no royal claims of ownership, no sacred writings, just bare stone chambers, like the building never belonged to anyone at all. Not even Khufu's name appears inside, the king long credited as its builder. Instead, the only proof of Khufu comes from a hidden scrawl found decades later in a sealed chamber, markings discovered by a man facing financial failure and racing against rivals for fame. One piece of evidence, no witnesses, no photos from the moment of discovery, and no repeat confirmation. Yet that fragile claim became the cornerstone of world history. Hancock didn't accept it. He believed the pyramid didn't belong to Khufu or his time at all. But if that's true, then who engineered the most precise building on Earth? And how far back in history does the real story go? Because the next discovery pushes the timeline into a place no textbook has ever dared to go. The closer Hancock looked at the Great Pyramid's design, the more the standard story began to crack. The pyramid is aligned to true north with an error smaller than the width of a finger. Not magnetic north, true north, the real center of Earth's rotation. Today, surveyors need computers and satellites to achieve that level of accuracy. Ancient builders were supposed to have ropes and sight poles. Then there's the foundation. The base covers 13 acres, yet the entire platform is leveled to within less than 1 inch from corner to corner. Even using laser tools, that kind of accuracy would challenge modern engineers. Stone placement deepened the mystery. Limestone casing blocks once covered the pyramid's exterior. They fit together so tightly that thin blades still can't slide between them. Inside, granite blocks weighing between 2 and 15 tons locked together with pressure-cut seams. Some joints curve and angle, designed to spread weight instead of stack it straight down. Copper chisels cannot cut granite. That's a problem. Tests show copper deforms after minutes against hard stone. Dolerite pounding creates rough surfaces, not smooth interlocking seams. And shaping just one granite block can take days or weeks using ancient replicas. Now multiply that by 2.3 million stones. To finish in 20 years, workers would need to quarry, shape, move, and place one block every 2.5 minutes, 24 hours a day, without breaks or mistakes. No pauses, no failures. Perfect precision. That isn't human labor, it's industrial output. And the pyramids built after Khufu are worse, smaller, sloppier. Many are half-collapsed ruins. Every civilization improves with time, not regresses. So why does Egypt begin with architectural near perfection, only to fall backwards? That question leads to a chilling thought. What if Egypt didn't invent pyramid technology? What if they inherited it? Because the next puzzle, how the stones were even moved, makes the construction mystery seem simple. Building the pyramid was only half the problem. Moving the stone was the real nightmare. Most of the pyramid is limestone from nearby quarries, heavy but manageable. But the heart of the structure, the king's chamber, is lined with solid granite, the hardest building stone used in ancient Egypt. Those granite blocks didn't come from Giza. They came from Aswan, more than 500 miles south along the Nile. Some weigh up to 80 tons, as heavy as a diesel locomotive. The official explanation? Wooden sleds, ropes, and raw manpower. Picture it, dragging an 80-ton stone across desert sand without wheels, loading it onto a boat without cranes, floating it upstream against the Nile's current, then hauling it uphill over rough terrain, and finally lifting it 150 feet into the air to place inside a rising stone monument. No machinery, no pulleys proven by archaeology, no surviving ramps. The famous ramp theory falls apart under simple math. To reach the pyramid's height at safe pulling angles, a ramp would stretch nearly a mile long and require more material than the pyramid itself. Yet no trace of such a ramp has ever been found. Other theories propose internal ramps or secret tunnels, but again, no physical evidence confirm they existed. Modern experiments using ancient tools still can't move stones anywhere near that scale safely or precisely, even with today's knowledge. Many engineers have quietly admitted they wouldn't be able to recreate this job using the methods credited to the Egyptians. So if manpower can't explain the transport, and ramps never existed, then only one conclusion remains. The builders used knowledge or methods we no longer understand or no longer remember. And if those methods were lost, what else was forgotten with them? Because the next line of evidence doesn't come from stone at all. It comes from water and what it carved in the Sphinx.
At the edge of the Giza Plateau stands the Great Sphinx, half lion, half human, carved from living rock. History books say it was shaped around 2500 BCE, during Pharaoh Khufu's reign. Wind and sand erosion are blamed for its worn surface. But when geologist Dr. Robert Schoch studied the Sphinx, he noticed something strange. The erosion lines didn't run sideways, the way wind damage works. They ran straight down. Deep, vertical grooves carved into the enclosure walls matched damage caused by only long periods of heavy rainfall. That kind of rain hasn't fallen in Egypt for over 10,000 years. Wind erosion leaves smooth, round surfaces. Water erosion creates jagged channels, exactly what the Sphinx displays. The geological conclusion was unsettling. The Sphinx must be far older than Egypt's dynasties, carved when the region experienced consistent rainfall near the end of the last ice age. That pushes the date back to at least 10,500 BCE. Thousands of years before pyramids were supposed to exist. Thousands of years before organized civilization was believed to begin. Mainstream archaeologists rejected the findings, not by disproving the erosion, but by dismissing the age estimate itself. Yet no alternate geological explanation has replaced it. If the Sphinx was built in a wetter era, then someone with advanced carving skill existed long before pharaohs ruled. And if an unknown civilization built the Sphinx, would they really stop there? Or would they also leave behind a monument, larger, more precise, and more enduring? There are no tool marks linking dynastic Egyptians to the Sphinx at all, just later repairs carved over older stone, which raises a dangerous possibility. Egypt didn't build the Sphinx. Egypt found it, just as Hancock believes they later found the Great Pyramid, inherited it, and claimed it. And that date, 10,500 BCE, appears again somewhere else, not on stone, but mapped into the stars above Giza. The pyramids aren't just stone monuments. They are aligned, deliberately, with the heavens. Robert Bauval, an astronomer and researcher, noticed something striking. The three pyramids of Giza don't form a straight line. The smallest pyramid is slightly offset. At first, historians called it a construction error. But Bauval saw a pattern. It mirrors the three stars of Orion's belt. Then he calculated when Orion would have appeared in that exact configuration above Giza. The answer, around 10,500 BCE. The same period Schoch's Sphinx analysis suggested. Two independent lines of evidence, one geological, one astronomical, converge on the same date. Hancock argues this can't be coincidence. Someone thousands of years before dynastic Egypt wasn't just building monuments, they were sending messages. The pyramids, the Sphinx, even their layout encoded knowledge about stars, equinoxes, and the solar year. And it wasn't just local. Across the globe, ancient sites share this cosmic awareness. Teotihuacan in Mexico, Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, Angkor Wat in Cambodia all reflect similar alignment patterns with celestial bodies. Hancock calls it a global signature, fingerprints of a lost civilization. The implication is staggering. Humanity's recorded history begins not with Egyptian dynasties, but with survivors of an advanced pre-Ice Age culture, passing knowledge through generations, leaving monuments as messages to the future. But if this civilization existed, destroyed by cataclysm, then what happened to their technology? And why are there no written records? Because the next clue isn't above the pyramids or in their stones. It's hidden inside, in spaces no one has fully explored. Even after thousands of years, the Great Pyramid still guards secrets. In 1993, German engineer Rudolf Gantenbrink sent a robot called Upuaut-2 into the narrow shafts of the pyramid. What it found shocked the world. A sealed stone door, deep inside, leading to a space no one had ever accessed. Excitement should have followed. Exploration, study, answers. Instead, the authorities blocked further investigation. The Egyptian Antiquities Director took control, and no one has been allowed back. The door remains untouched to this day. Fast forward to 2017. Scientists used muon tomography, a particle scanning technique, to peer inside the pyramid. Their instruments revealed an enormous hidden void above the Grand Gallery, a cavity large enough to fit a passenger jet. No cameras, no excavations, no explanations, just silence. Why hide these discoveries? Hancock suggests a motive. If the Great Pyramid wasn't built by Khufu or the Old Kingdom Egyptians, then the foundations of history as we know it crumble. Entire academic institutions, global narratives, even national pride are built on the accepted story. A revelation like this threatens careers, reputations, and authority. Hancock calls it gatekeeping, deliberate suppression of evidence. But the evidence exists, in plain sight, or buried deep inside the pyramid. If these chambers and voids were part of the original design, they might contain tools, records, or even mechanisms far beyond what we understand. And if that's true, it changes everything we thought about human ingenuity. Because the pyramid isn't just a tomb, it's a message, a blueprint, a warning. And the next section will reveal who Hancock believes left that message, a civilization erased from history itself.
Hancock calls them the magicians of the gods, the true architects of the pyramids. According to his research, the Great Pyramid and the Sphinx weren't built by dynastic Egyptians. They were built long before Egypt even existed, by a civilization wiped out around 12,800 years ago. A global cataclysm, possibly a comet strike or a sudden climate disaster, destroyed their world. These weren't primitive people. They were master engineers, astronomers, and navigators with knowledge of the Earth, the stars, and geometry that modern scientists are only beginning to rediscover. Hancock pieces together their trail from geological evidence, astronomical alignment, and architecture found across continents. Teotihuacan in Mexico, Angkor Wat in Cambodia, pyramids in Sudan. Despite no known contact, their constructions share mathematical constants, celestial alignments, and engineering sophistication. The message is clear. A lost civilization once existed with skills far beyond what we believed possible, and remnants of their knowledge were passed down, fragment by fragment, shaping later societies, Egypt included. Hancock's claim is bold. The Great Pyramid wasn't a tomb. It was a time capsule, a stone message built to survive millennia, encoding knowledge of the stars, the Earth, and survival after catastrophe. But here's the terrifying part. Most of what they left behind remains hidden, buried in sand, sealed in stone, ignored or suppressed by authorities. And if Hancock is right, then what else did humanity inherit from these ghost builders? Because the final revelation is coming, one that could rewrite the timeline of civilization itself. The Great Pyramid is not just stone and mortar. It is a message in 3 dimensions, a record left by a civilization that vanished before history even began. Hancock argues it encodes astronomical knowledge, the precession of the equinoxes, the solar year, and the stars of Orion's belt, all preserved in perfect alignment with the Sphinx and the surrounding plateau. Every block, every chamber, every corridor was deliberately planned, not as a tomb, but as a blueprint of human knowledge, designed to survive floods, wars, and centuries of forgotten memory. And yet, the world continues to call it Khufu's pyramid. The only evidence linking the pharaoh is a single, unverified quarry mark, one scratched inscription in a sealed chamber, discovered by an explorer racing for fame nearly 2 centuries ago. No bodies, no hieroglyphs, no funeral treasures. Hancock's research suggests the pyramid predates dynastic Egypt by thousands of years, surviving a global cataclysm that erased their creators. Their technology, their understanding of geometry and astronomy disappeared with them, or was deliberately hidden from us. Across the globe, other monuments reflect the same fingerprints. The Sun Pyramid at Teotihuacan, Angkor Wat, Göbekli Tepe. They are echoes of the same lost intelligence scattered across continents. And yet, authorities continued to block, censor, or ignore the evidence. Doors remain sealed, voids unexplored, secrets unexamined. So here is the final question Hancock leaves us with. If the pyramids were built by a civilization older and smarter than we've ever been taught to believe, then who were these ghost builders? And more importantly, what else did they leave behind, waiting for humanity to rediscover? The answers may not lie in textbooks. They may lie buried, waiting for those brave enough to uncover them.